Hi YouTube, hi Patreon. Thank you so much for joining me. This is an audio message for this moon. We have a new moon in Gemini happening on the 6th of June. So I'm looking at the chart now, and what can I say? It's going to be a really wonderful time to get to know people, of course, obviously, as Gemini loves a party. There's going to also be a very nice healthy stellium there in Gemini. So there's going to be Sun, Venus, Moon, also Jupiter, and the gentle, beautiful Mercury, all having a wonderful time. And Mercury does enjoy Jupiter, and he does enjoy Gemini. So there is a very nice feeling of relationships. There is a beautiful time to speak, and there's also a beautiful time to let go and allow other people to fill in the gaps. Are you a control freak? Do you sometimes only want things done your own way? And do sometimes criticize people for what they said or what they've done? If you don't really like other people being involved in your work, if you don't like any input from anybody else, if you don't like any comments on your audios or videos, if you don't enjoy anything that other people are saying or doing, it's going to be super hard for you. It's going to be hysterical as well for the introvert. And as I'm guessing that most of the people that enjoy this kind of material, probably introverts, astrology, esoterics. There's probably an introverted aspect to anybody that can handle half an hour audio or video with me. So definitely let's have a look. Come to terms with your introversion. Let someone else decide things for you. It's really nice to be initiated. There are super bond developing exercises that people do sometimes. You know, the one where you are falling backwards and somebody's there to catch you. There is these amazing exercises that people do in like an office space, or team building exercises is what I'm talking about. They're really good for you sometimes, to let somebody else choose the colors that you are gonna wear today, to let somebody else cut your hair or style your hair, to let other people say something and actually listen to them before you decide what you're gonna say back. It's really good to let other people have some kind of say, and also letting other people sign paperwork for you, letting another person or another party choose something for you. It's beautiful for blind dates. It's beautiful for social, societal initiations. It's beautiful to just fall head over heels in love with somebody if you want. And it's a beautiful miracle space time at the beginning of June to really give thanks and give hope to those things that have happened, and hope for them to happen again. If you've ever been in love but that has walked away, somehow it's nice time to actually imagine or admire that aspect of life, and even to program a marriage or to program a beautiful situation to come back. It's a beautiful time to ask for those loved ones and those beautiful people in your life to reach out and come back to you. And in certain situations that can be arranged, if you know a treasure now, if you understand now, I love this, or I love this person my whole life, or this is when I was the happiest, this is going to help you a lot. So if you're an idealist and you have some very certain thinking patterns or very amazing karma in terms of understanding when it was good, so you're not just like sharing, you're not just looking around, you're not just wandering through life, you actually have an eye for detail and you get it. Now this is awesome for designers, this is awesome for people that are building their homes or that are creating something in this life, people that are writing beautiful poetry or people that are painting beautiful paintings. You kind of already know. And this is why I really love this time, because it's just completion. Everything is already obvious. It's already here. It's already been met. Everything is grand. Like, you just know what is your favorite fruit. You know what is your favorite color. You know who you're looking for. And you also know about the traits you may have within yourself and how it all works. So for the expert, it's also very good to use technology and understand which things help, like which types of paints work for this kind of canvas, what kind of memory, what kind of idea would I like to depict, or or what should I use to get my desired result? And a lot of these results have already been achieved. And it's why also is because Dragon loves a master. Mastery is going to be really obvious during this time. A real maestro is going to be amazing, and you might see your grace during this time. You might see suddenly a skill come back. You might play the instrument like you've never played it before. You might gallop ahead. You might improve really quickly. It's a beautiful time to pick up skills. It's a beautiful time to learn something, and for some reason you might also find, wow, I've never known this, but I've always been a natural at the sport, for example. I've been a natural at this particular type of art, or I've been a natural at conversations, and I never actually knew it. So the whole thing about introversion, coming back to that topic, sometimes just we don't know ourselves or how far we've come because something is muted in ourselves, or something is seemingly not adequate in the places where we go or the people that see us. But try to expose yourself to something, move, go somewhere. It's really, really nice to express things with your body. Even if you don't like to talk, go to a party where you can dance, or be somewhere where things are happening around you. It's really important to be part of the bounce, and also to have that body and to have that mind fully open and aware and awake, and to get even more awake, more aware, and more intense or more extreme, even if it goes to a karmic point. So what is the karmic point? Even if you get angry at someone, even if you pick a fight with like a bartender or something, it's still a beautiful time. It is a lovely time to expose yourself and who you are. Also, masks are gonna fall. When you're in a space of mastery, if you really know how, if you are an amazing speaker, if you're an incredible intellectual, if you're a wonderful mother, if you are a great person, just a great friend, you'll see yourself, and all the other feelings will fall away. And unfortunately, you see, like, a lot of people are holding on to their layers. People have overgrown things in their psyche and overgrown situations that have simply accumulated in their life. Homes they didn't need to be in, people they didn't need to know. They have a lot of different categories they thought they would fill out. They had massive master plans that basically failed in the end, or are failing, or they just drab, and they don't have any magic to them. And many things may fail in comparison to that which is great. So in comparison to the one, this is beautiful for love, in comparison to the one person that really loved you, or that really made an impression on you, everything else fails. In comparison to the most beautiful place that you've ever been, anything else is just a giggle. So that's a very, very important part of Gemini, is not seeking comparison just because you can. The eyes know. When you see it, you just know. When you understand it, it completely penetrates the soul to the point where it's heartbreaking sometimes. But we have to move on, we have to learn. So if you now understand from a variety of experiences and variety of people, or a variety of different things that happen in your life, there are only those very special, specific, sure go-to places. There are just a few people that you've ever actually really loved, or there are just a few places that you've really loved to be in your life. Try to cherish them, and maybe if you want to keep a book of kindness. And here's how you can do it. You can start a diary and just write things like, today I remembered my childhood and the beautiful stuffed elephant that my grandmother gave me, and how much I love that stuffed elephant. And each time I see like a kid with a familiar or similar toy, I can't help but smile. It's like an inside joke that I'm constantly telling myself, just because of how much fun and joy that toy brought to my life. Every time I see an elephant, any elephant, like a carved elephant or a statue of an elephant, anything, a carving of an elephant, I really, really just want to hug it, because I want to say thank you. And then eventually you could even say something more mystical than that. Having a favorite toy when I was a kid that was an elephant brought me to India because of their relationship with the elephants. I traveled to India to look at a real elephant, and that changed my life again and again and again. So this is like that. It's kind of a little bit all over the place, maybe what I'm saying for some people, but certain people might understand me, maybe a certain generation. If you're in your 40s or 50s, you might understand me. What it is like to have a certain gift of love and to be incredibly appreciative and respectful of something or somebody, or just an aspect of reality that has somehow changed the trajectory of your life. So this is also something that comes to mind sometimes, as we're talking about this, metaphors, little things that caught your eye, and the passion and the love you felt, hysterical passion and love, innocent, childlike passion and love you felt, even if it was a bit of an extreme for no real true reason. This is going to really lead a lot of people to gold. An extreme love, and an extreme love of flowers, an extreme love of Victorian era, an extreme love of clocks and watches and ticking things, an extreme love of passion, or movies or novels, extreme interest in things. This is how some people are going to find it quicker than thinking and going within or being patient. Sometimes you just have to go to things that you love. So it is a new moon. It is a starting moon. Moons that are new are seeding moons. It's a perfect moon for new concepts. It's a great moon for starting up something different, but making it ideal for you. Actually, you know what? Out of all the places in the world that I've ever been, the ocean has not been surpassed. This is for me. For example, I just love the mountains. When I look at the mountains, I know who I am in my heart. Or I just love the rivers. The rivers speak through me, and I remember the way that it should have been, the way that it used to be, So many people have different associations, This could be something small, say, a thing can come back to you during this time. For example, a necklace that you lost, you might find on the market again. Or the person that you've been with before that was lovely for you, somehow reaching out and writing your message again. So this is all about giving yourself the best choice. We are also heading towards the solstice. It is alpha time. It is a wooden dragon year. It's about magnificence. And now that we are in the summer in the northern hemisphere, and also for people that are born with northern hemispheric ancestry, we have to really go for gold. If it's really, really strong winter where you are, usually if you live in Canada or Russia, there's going to have to be a big overglow maybe during this time. So for quite a lot of people that have not really had a chance to fully explain themselves and to stop time and look perfection in the face, that have never had enough, maybe they didn't have enough money before to do what they wanted, or they didn't really have a say, go out there and really breathe. It's a perfect time to just strike up that note and to say that beautiful toast. It's a great time for parties. If you ever thought, what am I going to have at a party? Have it on this day. It's a gorgeous awakening, a massive mega multi-frequency awakening for many people, and a real choice can be made from this amazing array of frequency and feelings. So it's not just about, me and him, or I guess I got my school, or I got my shop, or I don't know, I guess, I'm just going to wear these jeans today. Maybe it's about humor. Maybe it's about laughter. For some people, it is about other people doing things for you, just to make sure that you don't stagnate and share responsibility with them, as I said earlier. But in certain cases, it's just about, it's about glamour for some people. It's about awakening. It's about the full, natural, I just want to live, that kind of feeling. Even to the point that it scares you, even to the point where it's a little naughty. So that means in some situations, in some sequences, we'll have to go through a lot. And some situations it is hard. So to get to this amazing feeling of just awesomeness and amazement, some people have to go through some karma. They have to lose somebody sometimes. They have to make a mistake to be able to break themselves free from the cycle they're going through over and over and over again. An unneeded, unnecessary, low vibrational cycle of sadness or depression or not knowing which way. And to get to this just amazing feeling, which is the quantic feeling we're looking forward to today. Dragon, as I said, this is also the peak for some people, especially in the northern hemisphere. This is the only time. This is summer, peak of summer for some people. This is the time, these are the days. This is when you feel it with your whole body. This is where you feel it with your mind. This is where you hiding nothing. This is where you're going for it. This is where you're really letting your body go to an extreme, when you see yourself to such a perfect 10 out of 10 10 out of 10 level. It's kind of like all those masks fall off, that sad mask and that annoyed mask, and this person that you try to be, this job that you try to do, make sure they fall. It's like layers just disappearing, and kind of things coming off you, and they're no good anymore, and they're not interesting, and they're not intelligible, they're just whatever, and creating that which you actually know you want to create. So saying yes to the inner child in some cases, saying yes also sometimes to the inner adult if you suddenly have a great idea or your imagination is just off the hook, and then shining bright, even if it doesn't actually make any sense. In some cases it can be a little bit confusing or annoying as to where that energy is coming from and how certain energies or ideas are going to be from here on. It is hard to see a result in any of this. In some cases people will be like, you know what, this sounds like whatever, this sounds like candy water, this is just like whatever, you're just babbling on. This is nah. Look, I got a family to feed, I got my house, I got my reasons why I'm serious, and that's good, but try not to be. If you are so stuck and you think you only belong in this neighborhood and you only will get paid as much as you're getting paid, and if you are only going to be with that person and you're going to only be like this or like that, if you're really, really stoic on that, and if you believe that you will not be able to go beyond a level, who am I to tell you otherwise? Sure, okay. That's also a gift, drudgery, sadness, depression. It's also a gift. People that do the hardest jobs often are the ones that feel the most depth or shame or illness or darkness. That in a sense, dharma and karma are a relationship. There's a relationship between working hard and feeling a lot of sadness and shadow. There is a depressing cycle of having to work out or having to work off that which you have gained or accumulated inside yourself. So quite a lot of people that have incredible issues in their body also have certain shadow, certain scarcity. Even if you're a millionaire, it's still going to bring itself up. And then there's like this question of like, well, how else do I live? Like, oh, nice for you to say, how else do I live? There are lots of us knowing things, missing things as well, and we're just kind of vibing. And in a sense, this whole body of people that you're around, or this whole body, of light, all of these energies around you, they're all doing their little dance. And maybe in some ways there is shame, there's pain, or there's vulnerability, or sense of disrespect, or a sense of distance. But in some of this is actually for sure godliness. And inside each hint, each little metaphor that life creates in front of your eyes, there is sometimes, there is a problem, but quite often there is actually an answer that you're missing. If you're not awake or you're not aware yet, I've just done the June audio. Also, you may not notice it because it'll just be like blah, blah, blah to you. It'll be just cabbage to you because you don't actually really care. You don't give. And the reason why is because you've been taught not to care about yourself. If you love yourself, if you love the fact that you're alive, and you actually cherish your life, and you cherish the fact that you are, you will breathe new questions, you will breathe new ideas, you will breathe a new level of health into your body, into your timeline, if you wish to live. If you wish to live, meaning not that you like not living, but if you really wish to live. And how I'm going to explain this is, if you're not just existing, if you're not just going day in, day out, or hour to hour, if you're not just doing chores, if you're not just like drudging on, if you're actually alive. And is there a limit? Sure, there might be limits, but it's not about limits. It's not about getting drunk and spending all the hard-earned cash you've made in a week. It's not about that. It's about doing good to you. And it's about being a sparkle is also about being a beautiful gem and a little piece of wisdom for everybody that you see and whoever that you touch, even if it's a necklace that has a special ornament on it. Maybe that's all it is. Today I'm wearing that necklace. Maybe that in itself is enough, and people also say, yeah, you are enough. I love that as well. You've always been enough. It's just whether or not you like it. We are all characters in this game of chess, or in this game of Sims, in a sense. There's a really dangerous feeling sometimes to these kind of energies that are coming up, because we really, really don't like what other people are doing. We can make fun of them, and sometimes we can be mean to each other. So the worst, the most wounding part of this time is people just being angry, and they're putting that into each other's auras, or they are friends with their agitation or friendly with their aggression. And maybe they enjoy that more than being calm, because when they are calm, they don't really know how. So what I basically have to say is that we've all got masks, maybe, or we all got characters, or we all identify each other as a character. If you're wearing clothes in the human world, you are a character. You are playing a role. Even if you're not wearing clothes, if you are physical, you are a character. And that is really also like hard for me, because I do like to enjoy and dissolve my mind as if I've never been, and I never will be, and that's where a lot of the insights do come from. And it does also challenge me. It's kind of hard to be embodied some of the time. But what I actually found out recently is that no matter how far you go and how much you go for it and change, life is incredibly simple. It's kind of like a cartoon. It's like an adventure. And it should never have not been. So sitting back and watching other people live life while you are not is a difficult thing. So coming back to that introvert, the introverted part, and also quite a lot of time introverts have a lot of hysteria. It's just that they're not open to face it yet. And basically what I've done, also growing up incredibly introverted, is I've just found a way out through walking around and seeing what other people's lives were like. I found my way by looking many people in the faces and noticing their eyes and what their faces suggest. So basically what I do now to get myself together and to get myself feeling more alive and more connected is I try to just watch, and as you look and as you absorb information visually, and as you become open or friendly with how another person is and how they're acting, or like how their body is moving or what they're doing, you start to become just within that understanding of who they are, and also how you feel. Just watching the weather sometimes can also help, but I feel that this is not about the weather. This is not just about watching the rain and secretly kind of discovering pieces of you, although some people are at that level where they can benefit from this. I feel it's not about calming energies. It's not about falling asleep or falling awake. It's more just about doing things together. And whether you like it or not, we are a tribe. People do kind of depend on one another, and there are families that really work in this world. There are communities that are going very well. We're not all alone. So this feeling like, I'm alone and you're alone, we'll all die alone, live alone, that's not a good feeling. So we basically have to come out of this hard-working stuff, the scarcity stuff, the hard knocks philosophies, also things being difficult, scarce, or depressing. And yes, there is also a feeling in me that the introversion, the introverted kind of ice king, ice queen feeling has to eventually start to melt, as we do not necessarily want to repeat the patterns that we have created by sitting alone, looking online, kind of just eating crackers and, being just kind of feeling content as that. There is nothing in that. And also internally, I kind of do understand that some people are so burdened or bothered by life that they don't really have any other way, any quick way of solving their questions and their problems. And by looking online or being around people that are very uninspiring, or that do things day in, day out, and using kind of very serious kind of drudgerous psychology, they feel like that's probably the safer way of living and learning about life. If you go outside and you can't really imagine involving with other people. You cannot afford it, or it's just not easy, or it's not fun. Still try to go out there, try to seek wisdom in something beyond like social media, or something beyond the TV, different media industries, because we don't actually really want that to be our life, and many people do have a vision that eventually one day we'll just be laying down in these pods with these sort of fake glasses and seeing mirages, seeing images like on the TV and participating kind of like in this video game, while we are not actually ourselves living a life outside of like this pod. And that's not something that I'd like to see in this world. I mean, would you? So this kind of feeling of being immobile and not able to be reached, just kind of imagining or living in a fantasy or a digital reality, that's not a really difficult thing to imagine as well. If you think about, like, was it Zuckerberg? He made like some kind of like digital glasses, like virtual reality glasses, that eventually probably will obviously become a mainstream thing to do. But do you not want to feel what this life is about? Because this is probably as good as it gets. Like, in some ways I can see that this is not as good as it gets, and I can feel people getting aggressive and maybe arguing. It's like, do you know what I have to do in a day? Do you have to know? Like, do you have to find out? So I understand that some people are very protective of their lives and who they are and how far they've gone to be able to generate a life that they do live, even if it is just between the home and the job and not having anything else, completely being segregated into like a tiny apartment, or having no friends and no real colleagues. And that's really, really hard. That's really hard out. That's really hard for me to understand. But in some ways, there are going to be strands, and there is going to be maybe money that's made elsewhere, although this is going to be a very slow progress. And in many situations, maybe money is not going to be a thing anymore eventually, in some time. But in saying all this, I kind of have a feeling that many people don't really like who they are, and they don't want anybody looking at them, and they don't want to share. They don't want to share their face. They don't want to share what they're feeling that day. And I get you if you are like this, and I've also done that in my life. So what I've basically found is that it won't matter. Like, the moment decides. The moment is a holy gift, is a holy spectacle, and it should never be anything otherwise. And if you don't have moments that you enjoy, or you can't imagine or can't remember anything that you've enjoyed, that's a hardcore feeling. But there's always going to be something else. It's just about walking around and finding things. For some people, it is going to be about travel. It's the opposite side of Gemini, Sagittarius. Travel, walking around, just seeing what other people are doing, trying to find something in a group, trying to find something. Maybe it's even in the movie theater or something, but it is just so hard if people are immobile eventually. Like, all they've got is they got their apartments, and they got their stone cold realities, and they got their very, very karmic relationships that are based around just a TV set, or just based around the bedroom and the kitchen. It's really hard, and it's depressing. So it's just about knowing that you don't want that to be the hallmark of your body, to be the hallmark of your life. And also, body does matter. Your body matters. So not to get imprinted, like, say, by a job that makes you hunch or makes you grey in the face. Not getting imprinted by people that just want trouble. Not feeling possessed by anything or anybody. And for sure, anything you do, anything you take part in, anybody that you know, and anything that you circulate around, and anything that you want to see and that you're curious to see, because it is a Gemini new moon after all, is going to imprint you, and it's going to make you more basic, but it's also going to make you more strong. So don't be afraid of people pass judgments as soon as they see you. And I know there's some people very uncomfortable. It's like, well, I'm obese. Like, easy for you to say, but do you know what it's like when people look at you and you're like this, and they say things under their breath? Do you know what that's like? I don't. I wouldn't. But in some ways, still keep going. Don't make it the point. It is really, really harmful to change anything to an extreme. This month, Gemini energy is kind of cathartic. It can be like there's like a lot of gas and pressure underneath. So to try and push yourself into like a fitness regime or trying to change your life drastically, it's not about claiming results. It's not about claiming these big, hard results, unless they're fine and simple for you. The worst case scenario is sometimes people want to do that which they cannot do, and then they put all their dollars and cents and all of their energy into this, which is just absolutely hard. It's absolutely unable to be carved into anything else. And that's where we actually see why, is because we're trying to break ourselves down into a more simplified form. So in a sense, try to make it out of these realities that are just grinding you into pulp, and making a very nice friend of somebody, at least, or somebody that you haven't met before. Like, make a friend, do something interesting, because this is not a good time to be stone cold. It's not a good time to be alone. It's a great time to evolve and try to think different. Jupiter and Mercury together, try to think different and ask new questions, because life is about the truth of the moment sometimes, yeah, but it's also about evolution. No, it's not just that. Life is easy. It's just that people don't want it to be. They don't like it like that. Interesting thing, we don't think that people are good. Okay, sometimes we don't expect things can come to us for free. You know, we don't expect that we will meet somebody we really like. We don't like that for some reason. We want it complicated, we want it ghostly, we want it outside of the status quo sometimes, or we want something in privacy, and privacy is actually a big thing. It's kind of a main thing. Privacy, you know, private resorts, you know, private personalities, being left alone at the end of the day and being forgotten. It's not just that. We want somebody else to be ourselves sometimes, and we cannot. And that's also, I think, at the bottom of it, at the bottom of this particular energy, at the bottom of this moon. Sometimes we want something to happen that will take us so far away from who we are. And we sometimes want to manifest that which we cannot. And we will not be that person that we think that we are sometimes, or we've got to be. So how can I say, just have a laugh. It's very, very complicated. Sometimes people have very complicated emotions. Nobody can help you with complex emotions during Gemini. Everything is a little bit too pretty and funny and just whimsical and just whatever. It should not have ever been complicated. And then now here I am going around in circles. It should never have been complicated. So that's it for now. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, YouTube. Thank you so much, Patreon. If you are new to my channel, if you haven't seen my materials yet, have a look at my website and my books. And yeah, for sure, Patreon is where I place most of my media. So if you haven't yet signed up, sign up. Thank you so much. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time.